unity is what democracy is about.
1 year after violence, chaos, and death at the U.S. Capitol, calls for unity, love, and democracy were heard at the South Carolina state capitol.
We need to find justice, but at the same time, we need to find ways to come back together.
Columbia resident Alan Black spoke at the State House gathering. He hopes Americans can mend the deep divide and help protect democracy.
Our democracy is no stronger than the people that we are part of. So each one of us have a responsibility to protect our democracy.
One way organizer Lawrence Moore said to do that is through equal voting rights.
The demonstrations that we had back on January 6th and the persistence of a lie about our election created the opportunity and the reality that we need to fortressize our rights in our country.
South Carolina scholars also met on the Day of Remembrance, saying we can learn from the past to understand what happened on January 6th.
I appeal to people to study these periods of the 19th century, particularly after about 1868, to try to understand exactly what's going on. And we can use these as tools to further understand how to combat misinformation.
Dr. Todd Shaw argued the attack was a result of division that began a long time ago.
This polarization didn't just occur. It has been here and has grown at least since the late 70s.
The scholars say moving forward will take uncomfortable conversations, education, and honesty.
Here's a look at the timeline of what happened on the 6th of January last year. Early in the day, thousands gathered for a rally in front of the White House. At noon, former President Donald Trump urged supporters to march to the Capitol. At 1:30, Mike Pence gavels in the Senate. He is tasked with certifying the electoral votes, which will confirm that Joe Biden won the election. At 1:49, a riot was declared at the Capitol. Minutes later, lawmakers were evacuated. At 4:17, Trump released a video urging rioters to go home. At 5:40 that day, the National Guard arrived, and at 11:32, lawmakers resumed their joint session to certify the election. As we look back on that day, we know at least 11 South Carolinians have been charged in connection with the January 6th insurrection. Several of them have already pled guilty. Back in January, Andrew Hatley became the first person from our state to publicly face federal charges in connection with the incident. Investigators say he was seen in this selfie taken with a statue of John C. Calhoun. A witness submitted a tip identifying Hatley in the picture. Back in November, Nicholas Laugeran from Little River pled guilty to assaulting an officer using a dangerous weapon. These images come from the Justice Department documents. He faces up to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. His sentencing is set for the 20th of this month. James Douglas Lawless Jr. from Greer will be sentenced on February 18th. He has pled guilty to a charge of parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. John Hubert and Stacey Ann Getzinger from Hanahan have both pled guilty to the same charge. Their sentencing will be held on April 21st. Here's a look at several other South Carolinians who are accused of crimes connected to the riot 1 year ago today. According to the Justice Department website, their cases have not yet been resolved.